Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be a little bit different. This one is called Love Through the Chakras. So, the different chakras you have in your body. Um, this is how the emotion of love, is expressed through the different chakras. And just a quick introduction, so chakras are energy centers in our body. In the physical body, they correspond to glands that we have in our body, but these are energetic centers, so you don't actually see them. But when you feel an emotion, or you feel a sensation, when you feel an emotion in your body, you will feel it in that particular area of your body. And yeah, so this is like ancient Indian science, and so this video is kind of based on that. So yeah, the first chakra of your body is the root chakra. So this is like the base of your spine. And in Sanskrit it's called as Mooladhara chakra. And when a person is mostly operating in energies of the Mooladhara chakra, that person's focus is mainly on survival. Survival and safety are the two main concerns of that person. And for such a person, love is it's not love in the true sense, it's a need. It's a need based love. So the love is just for survival's sake. So you can kind of think of this love as the first reason why humans came in contact with another human and started living with another human for survival, because they realized when we live together we survive more. We have a better chance at surviving and staying safe. So it kind of comes from that. But of course, you will see a lot of people in your surroundings might also be in such love relationships with maybe their spouse, family, or whatever love relationship that is. It's based on a need to survive and to feel safe. So it's extreme form of codependency. When you experience this, you will just simply stay with a person because you feel that you cannot survive without them, or you cannot feel safe without them. So yeah, so it's a need to survive. Now the second one and I'm not judging these, I'm just trying to tell you that this is how the expression of love gets expressed through the different energy centers you have in your body. So it's just like a fun video. It's not to judge anyone, or kind of criticize or say that this is better than that. It's nothing like that, it's just how it is. Yeah. So then the second one is sacral. So sacral is called as Swadhishtan in Sanskrit. And if a person is expressing love through this energy center of their body, the love is just for use, or in the extreme sense for abuse. So this kind of love is it's very hedonistic. It's very pleasure based. It's because something is giving you pleasure, so you love it. So it's a very addictive or obsessive sort of a love. So it could be love for drugs, it could be love for alcohol. It's again, it's codependency, but the codependency is more for enjoyment, it's not for survival. It has qualified a little bit. In the first one it was like you cannot survive without the other thing. In this one it is, your pleasure is based on the other thing, and so you love it. You love it in quotes, because that is the way you are experiencing your love. So this might be in the worst way, this could be like non-consensual acts of physical intimacy, where a person is not consenting to you but the other person will only gain a sense of pleasure if they are being abusive towards that other person. So like all that, um, all the cases where you're using the other thing to achieving an end, and after that you don't care about the thing. It's a feeling of uh, it's a feeling of sadism, where you are creating pain in someone or something, and you are gaining pleasure from it. So that kind of a love comes from the Swadhisthana chakra. And yeah, basically, it in the other way, in the other direction, it could go in people who like to be abused, who like to be in pain. What is that called? It's called something like masochism or something like that, I don't know. But basically, it's the pleasure a person derives from being in pain. So it's like self-sacrificing to an nth degree and in a very toxic way. So some person who feels pleasure if they are being used or if they are being abused. So that's the kind of love a person experiences when most of their energies are coming from the Swadhisthana chakra. And of course, this is not only in a physical or a sexual way. It could be anything. It could be a person who knows that, oh, this person is using me for money, or this person is using me to gain power, or to to gain clout or something like that. So it's not always just physical. It could be anything. It could be on an emotional level. You are using a friend to always dump your things on the friend or something like that. So it could show itself in a different kinds of ways. But yeah, in the worst case of narcissistic relationships, this is like a classic narcissist and a classic empath who doesn't know anything about being an empath or anything about narcissistic people, and who are just in this cycle. And also the Swadhisthana chakra is very notorious for obsessiveness and addictiveness. So it's if someone is stuck in this cycle of being used, or if someone is stuck in this cycle of using people, it's a very addictive and obsessive cycle, and it's hard to get out of. It's because obsession and addiction are two things that are very sacral chakra. So if you find yourself around people who are addictive or who are obsessive about something, who cannot let things go, who cannot go with the flow, who are control freaks, you need to caution yourself, because these people would usually express their love out of the Swadhisthana chakra, sacral chakra. And it might not be as pleasurable, to experience. Maybe in the beginning it gives you a thrill to experience it, because the actual act of the physical intimacy might feel very good, but you should not get addicted in this cycle, because it's at least for your spiritual progress, it's not very good if you stay in those lower energies. It brings you down to very animalistic tendencies. Yeah. And yeah, the last point is, there is no regard for the object of your affection. So it's a very use and throw kind of a love. So the object can easily be replaced with any other object that satisfies the criteria. So that is the love that is expressed from the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. And a lot of narcissistic people are actually operating from their sacral chakra. It represents reptilian psychology, reptilian behavior. So reptiles behave in this way. Then the third chakra is solar plexus. So this is called as the Manipur chakra, and this is the center of the ego. So in this chakra, if you find people who are operating mostly in the Manipur chakra, for these people, love is equal to uh, gain, so something that is giving them something. Okay, so something in the second one, it was for pleasure, right? In this one, it could be for anything. It could be for status. It could be for, like physical pleasure. It could be for money. It could be for maybe just an image that this person has in their mind, that this is how I want my life to be. Like, I want a wife, I want a husband, I want a family, I want a car, I want a this, I want a that. It's a very like something that you have planned your life has to look like, and so someone fits the criteria. So it's better than sacral, definitely. But it is still very ego driven. It is love because someone fulfills that criteria which you need them to fulfill. So it is a very conditional sort of love. And for most of humanity, we all are operating in the Manipur chakra most of the time, because we all have an ego, and which we will always have. There is no way you can operate in this world without an ego. But the problem is, most of us have either an overinflated ego or an underinflated ego. The point is, we have to keep it in balance. The ego has to be in balance. So yeah, so basically, an egoic sort of a love. So you marry someone, or you have a spouse, maybe for their looks, or maybe for their money, or it could also be because when you talk to them you feel good. And it's like, because I feel good when I talk to you, I love you. So it's like, the love is still not for that person, it's for how you feel when you talk to them, or how you feel when you are with them, or what you feel your life together can be. So it's always an expectation driven love. And to be frank, most of humanity is functioning in this way. The love that we experience, no matter how much we kind of exalt it, it is always at this level where someone is giving us something and we are reciprocating in some way. So at least it's still okay, this sort of a love, because it's not a love of use and abuse, but it is more like a mutual conditional love. That okay, you fulfill your role of so and so, and then I come in and I fulfill my role of so and then we live together. So this is a very practical, logical sort of a love. And it can survive, and you can live your whole life with this kind of a love. Of course, like, unless a person is extremely egoistic, and the relationship or the love is only for that point with which they fell in love with you. Like, maybe like you fell in love with someone for their looks, but maybe 10 years down the line the looks are gone. Or someone fell in love with someone for the money, but the money is gone. So if you leave the person at that point, then obviously you are overly attached with that thing. And it basically proves that the love could not move itself up to the next level, which is the next love that I wanted to discuss, love from the Anahat chakra. But yeah, if your love only stays in the solar plexus, it is pretty ego driven, and it can be very dicey. It's a very conditional love. So if you stop fulfilling those conditions, what will happen to the love? I don't know. It depends on the situation. So yeah, it's better than sacral, because in sacral there is utter disregard for the thing of love or pleasure seeking thing that you had. In the solar plexus there is genuine care for the object of love, but the genuine care is genuine because, only because the object of love is bringing back a sense of egoic satisfaction to you. So it's still not, it still doesn't fall into the unconditional category of love. So, the next love that I wanted to discuss is the love that comes from the heart center, which is the Anahat center. So, for a person whose energies have moved into the Anahat chakra, they can experience something called as unconditional love. They can experience something that is true love, or love that does not depend on anything, which is love for the sake of love. And it's uh, it's difficult to explain this, because it's literally love without any conditions. It is love because you love, and it doesn't matter if the person or the object of your love is near you, is far away, is misbehaving, is toxic, etc. It doesn't matter. You still have love for that person or that thing or that whatever, like animal, etc., whatever is the object of love. So it's a love without any expectation, and it's a love which doesn't even have to be bi-directional. It's a love of the how do I say, of the sort that the other person might not even know that you love them, but you still love them, and the love still stays. And I'm not saying that you are like pining over that person or the object of your affection for years, but it's just that you move on with your life, you carry on, but the love still stays even after you meet after 20 years. Again, this could be a love that you have for your parents or anyone. So it's gone beyond conditions, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And then the next um, love is love that comes from the throat chakra, which is the Vishuddha chakra. Now, this love is mostly spiritual in nature, so this goes beyond anything like male, female. It does not recognize forms. It is love for existence, love for creation. There is no judgment. There is no categorization of putting a person in a box. So that's the love that is expressed through the throat chakra. And usually the people whose energies are very free flowing through the throat chakra, they do become extremely spiritual in nature, and they do see oneness in most things. And when they speak, they do not speak from ego, they do not speak from love. Most of the time when they speak, they are pretty much a channel for the divine, and it's like the divine is pretty much speaking through them. So yeah, that was love of the last chakra I wanted to discuss, which is Vishuddha chakra or throat chakra. And yeah, one more thing for the root chakra. If you have seen the movie The New World, you will know what I mean by saying that it's a love for survival, because in the old age people used to just marry each other for survival's sake. So if you see the movie The New World, it's based on Pocahontas, I think. And the second marriage that she does, or the first marriage I think that she does, is with this with the character that Christian Bale is playing. And it's pretty clearly shown in the movie that she marries him for the sake of survival. So a lot of marriages in the olden ages were, or love in the olden age was basically survival based. So yeah, that was my video on the loves that are different, that are expressed through the different energy centers. And I hope you found this informative or useful or entertaining. uh, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Bye.